Well, yes, I'd been reading, hadn't I, Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, and Sir Edwin Arnold's translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled, on his little book, The Song Celestial. And by such means I was experiencing the presence of God, to begin with without knowing such, but to continue with realizing such. And that was the transcendence, and I didn't come down for about 10 days. I was just, you could say in meditation. I mean, I was walking campus a little, and I can't remember, the whole thing's a dream now, but with everlasting consequence. Fancy that. But a transcendence, you see. I was alone, ostensibly, but I'd not felt alone. After the 10 days, I realized I'd not felt alone, and yet I've not related to anybody else other than God. God's company for 10 days. Don't mean some dear old chap in white, of course. But I do mean thinking upon his presence, which is everything. You know, out of sight, out of mind, we say, oh my goodness, that's no good. Didn't you think of me while you were away? Oh dear, I thought you loved me. You know? To be in mind is everything. To know that you're thinking of me and care is everything to me. Because I love you. You are my hope, my everything. You see, we fall in love in this world for a very good reason. One is to experience love, so that we know what it's like. It's training. But the other is to realize also where our love should be. And it should be eternally with the eternal. And of course we want our love to be eternal. And our beloved, likewise, we do all we can to rescue and preserve and keep and treasure her. Or him, whatever you're... I don't want to get into some... Someone said to me last night, oh, why is God always he? And I just wanted to say, because I don't have any pronoun that recognizes him as a person without giving him a gender. It's not that I wish to apply a gender to him. I see him as a wonderful friend. Male or female, in a sense, makes no difference. To the glory of his company, for goodness sake. I'm not talking about worldly attributes. I'm talking about eternal loving kindness and being. And yes, personhood, but complete all personhood. You know, God's neither male nor female, but he's not an it. He's the Lord, the giver of life, the living God, God the living. For all live unto him, you and me, and the host of heaven, trillions of very large family. But to the point that I started with somewhere in the previous recording or two. Transcendence is ever new and ever varied and eternal. And changed from glory into glory, I'm thinking of, it's not of this world, it's transcendent. It's the tag we use for it. You've heard of Eckhart Tolle, haven't you? Eckhart Tolle, is it? I don't know. Eckhart, anyway. Eckhart Tolle. He talks of, I guess I had to ask God what the word was, synchronicities. Synchronicity. When you start to see them in your life, you're transcendent. You suddenly find you're flying. Perfect synchronicities. The right thing at the right time. It might be just a word of knowledge, help, text. Someone says something. You see something. You hear something. You flip into a book or a YouTube video that is exactly what you need at that moment. Or two things come together. A person gives you direction out the blue and vanishes, almost as if it were an angel that told you. Perhaps it was. Yeah. Give you an example that I have given somewhere before, but I was working on a research project in London where we visited the ghastly, huge psychiatric hospitals before they were basically all closed and just people were dispersed into the imaginary community of the outside world, on drugs, of course. But anyway, I don't know if it was Free and Barnet or Natsbury, but I got on a bus. I was on my way actually to the office in South London. But I saw a bus with something like the name of one of the hospitals on it, for argument's sake, we'll say Free and Barnet or Natsbury or something. And I got on it and sat upstairs thinking, well, it was timely. I just saw the bus and took it as a word that perhaps I should go and visit that particular establishment, because I was doing the sampling for the research project, huge project, international, comparing London and New York, care of the elderly. As an economist, you understand. But anyway, the sampling needed to be done for the research, so I had selected this particular hospital that I saw. I thought, I'll go and have a look at it. I got there and was in the building going up towards the restaurant because I had no appointment, of course. I mean, I was just going on a visit to get a feel for the place. I mean, I could present myself to the administration, but I didn't have that particularly in mind. I was just going to see it. So I was going up to the restaurant, and on the way up the stairs, I ran into my boss, a psychiatrist, and one or two others of the team. And they were glad to see me, because obviously I was expected to be at the appointment they were about to go to, and and having lunch first for whatever reason, and I just joined them for lunch, and I didn't say I'd no idea I was supposed to be there. I just pretended as if I knew and I'd come as required and expected. I mean, it was bizarre, and I just blended in. I didn't let them know, and had lunch, and then we went to the meeting and had this meeting with the administration, of course, saying that they'd been selected in the sample, and and we were glad that they'd given us permission to come and include them, and just whatever the meeting was for. I mean, wow. And I can remember another, that was a transcendent moment. I mean, you just feel, my goodness, God, how did you, a synchronicity like that? I should meet them at exactly the right place and time. It's just astonishing. Another one I had, I'd travelled across London again in my general duties of this research project. And I realised, oh my goodness, I was on a very tight budget, you see. We lived in the country, miles, hours from London. And, but anyway, I travelled across London and was going to get back to Liverpool Street, which was my commuting station of departure from London to the East Coast, where I lived with my wife. And I realised I was standing on the underground platform that my ticket I didn't have a ticket to get back. And I didn't have the money to buy one. And we didn't have FPOS cards, where you could just pay for things because of the card in your pocket. I didn't have the money on me, and that's what counted. And you couldn't just go to a cash machine in those days, there wasn't that sort of technology, I'm standing there thinking, how can I get back across London? I mean, it's miles and miles. It's going to take me hours to walk that. And it's the end of the day. I'm tired and so on. And of course, they announced on platform so-and-so the train for Liverpool Street. And it's just across the way. So I think that's the train I need to be on. But I haven't got the money for the ticket. So what did I do? I'm going to trust you, Lord. Transferred across the station. I can't remember whether it's over the top or underneath. Onto the other platform, into the train, sat on it. Off we went to Liverpool Street. Arrived at Liverpool Street. I'm coming down the platform, going through the ticket checking barrier, which is person, of course, in those days. Everyone's offered the ticket. And I'm going through and I say, I've got this ticket, but I haven't got a return. He looks at it and says, oh, well, that's all right. You're in the right zone, according to the ticket. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's right. That's a valid ticket. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't believe it. I mean, was I thanking God? Can I tell you? Now, that might seem very trivial to you looking back on it, but very important to me at the time. Life can be quite difficult, can't it? You don't have the money for something you need to do. And that ticket was apparently valid. You could travel between that zone and Liverpool Street and back again. Don't know, it was valid anyway. I was so pleased, thankful to God. Do you see, gratitude can cause transcendence. Love can cause transcendence. Synchronicity of events can cause transcendence. If you're not careful, you're flying. Should I say half the time? Bless you, and you are blessed. And the way to fly all the time is to fill your life with thanks to God. You see the effect. It's magical. It's miraculous, wonderful. When you fill your life with thanks and praise to God, read a tiny book. Merlin Carruthers, he was an American chaplain in the Army, Air Force, I don't know, whatever it was, can't remember. Air Force, yeah, because he did parachute. I don't know, he did parachuting anyway. But anyway, he was a chaplain, and he wrote a book called Prison to Praise. A very inspiring little book, even though it's old-fashioned now. We're talking about end of the Second World War from an American point of view. And it's only about 90 trivial pages long. You can read it in an evening, but don't. Read it in a month instead. Let it transform your life. How praise opens the portal to the miraculous. How gratitude and thanks transforms you. And I think it's because gratitude brings hope, and hope, assurance, trust, faith, peace, freedom to love and express and live, fullness of life, all flows from gratitude. Practice gratitude. Thank God for everything good, and if you're really smart, you start to thank Him for everything that appears bad, on the grounds that He's an all-powerful God that loves you. This is the theology, if you like to call it that. That I believe in. You may find it hard to find in Scripture, and even harder to find in the Christian religion. But taste and see. Practice gratitude, and see if your life doesn't turn into a continual series of miracles, some of which are absolutely fantastic. Well, like life eternal itself, of course, and transcendence. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.